Hey guys, I am really excited to announce that my course on preparing for a front-end interview is now live. In this video, I want to take a couple of minutes to briefly talk about the course and let you know about the launch day discount. Over the years, in my experience as a front-end dev, one thing I realized was that every time I had to prepare for an interview, I would open 10 or 20 tabs trying to read through different topics and make sure I'm updated with the topics that are typically asked during an interview. With the short time that I would usually have to prepare, my answers during the interview weren't necessarily well thought out. I always felt that I could do better. And I thought to myself, it might not just be me. A lot of us might be on the same boat. That is exactly the reason I created this course, which is to help myself and others who want to prepare better for their next front-end interview. Especially in these trying times, every bit of help matters in landing that job you've always wanted. Let's now talk about the course content. Although every company has its own way of conducting an interview, for the most part, the discussion rounds and the questions do have a few things in common, and that will be our focus in this course. The first section is pretty much a brief intro to the course. The second section is about the typical front-end interview process. We will go over preparing your resume, how to go about a recruiter's call, the initial screening call, points to keep in mind during the coding project round, the on-site interview, and a few tips to negotiate your salary. The third section is probably the most important section, not only in this course, but for any front-end interview. And that is about JavaScript. This is because it doesn't matter if the position you're interviewing for is a React profile or an Angular profile. The fact is, everyone is looking for a framework-agnostic candidate who knows multiple paradigms and can code across different frameworks. So a thorough understanding of vanilla JavaScript concepts is a must for any front-end dev. I also know that a lot of you have requested for a JavaScript course on the channel. This section is probably what you're looking for. There is no point in me creating a course on the basics of JavaScript, which are common across other languages as well. Rather, the focus here is on the more advanced and JavaScript-specific features. When you Google for JavaScript interview questions, a lot of the times you're just going to see questions that are not at all practical. For example, you will come across questions like, what is the output of the following code, where the code just contains 5 or 10 different JavaScript operators. Or you might also encounter questions like, what is the difference between Java and JavaScript? Now, I really don't think any company asks such questions, which is why what I focused on is understanding the underlying concepts so that you can answer any question based around that. We will talk about variable declaration, scope, closures, function currying, this keyword, arrow functions, prototype, prototypal inheritance, ES6 classes, maps, sets, iterables and iterators, generators, and the all-important interview topic of async JavaScript. More specifically, timers and intervals, callbacks, promises, async await, the event loop, and exercise problems related to all these topics. I guarantee that you will feel much more confident about your vanilla JavaScript understanding when you're done with this section. The fourth section is problem solving. This is a DIY section where I've handpicked a few problems that are commonly asked during the interview. The intention here is to sort of get your mind thinking how to approach problems and make you aware of the different data structures and their methods in JavaScript. This section will help you brush up on strings, arrays, maps, and sets. The final section is the miscellaneous section. This section is pretty much heavily dependent on the company and the role you're interviewing for. I briefly talk about the major topics to be aware of from HTML and CSS perspective, React and Redux perspective, and front-end tooling in general. The best part for me is that this course serves as revision material when all you have is a day or two before your interview. Now then, let's talk about pricing. The course is about 6 hours in length and is priced at $20. However, I am running a launch day discount. The first 250 purchases are available at a 50% discount. Please check the link in the description to buy the course at $10 or 700 rupees if you're from India. If you've ever wanted to support the channel, this would probably be the way to do that, and at the same time get access to content that will help you. Also, if you're a patron, please contact me directly on Patreon to get the course at a better discounted price. Now there is one last thing. For 2021, I have a lot of good content lined up for this channel. However, I'm also keen on creating more paid courses at affordable prices for the sort of content a lot of you request. For example, building React projects as a beginner or building React Native projects as a beginner. We are not talking about a Facebook clone or a Twitter clone, but small to medium-sized projects that will complement the content you get for free on the channel. Please leave a comment on what content you're interested in purchasing and learning about in 2021. Once again, thank you for all your support, and I really hope you enjoy this course and the content on the channel.